He was Damwon, he was with Longzhu, he was with all sorts of teams that managed to get fantastic stuff. He was also with Samsung in the era that they were world champions back in 2014. That's maybe why 2014 was in my brain last season. Last series.
Good cop out.
Take it away, Chronicle.
No, you had yourself there. Hey, we do get the ban.
Udyr ban?
It's
no.
happening. We're already pivoting away. If you didn't watch, we saw two variations of Udyr. One full tank.
The winning one and the not winning one.
The winning one was the version that had Riftmaker. I would have loved to see that again, but not going to be the case here. And on the other end, we do see a large amount of attention being paid towards the bot lane. Azir seems to be the big standout here. I wouldn't be surprised if that is what is B1'd here by Gen G. And there have been rumblings of a certain Yordle making his way back into the meta. A Yordle in the plane.
Oh, God, I thought you were going to talk about a different Yordle that's been plaguing solo queue at the moment.
Oh,
no. Okay, thank goodness. Yes, that Yordle in a plane could be a thing, but there's Varus and there's... Well,
no,
We're first picking it! You said it! You spoke it into existence, Chronicler!
Yeah, that's on me.
Everyone, get in chat and make sure that you send your regards to Chronicler for that beautiful cast.
Okay, but it's usually in the response to Azir. Now, obviously, the call is if you go for this, if we go for this, you can't go for Azir. It's fine. Specifically, the combination of Lucian with Milio or Nami has been very unsuccessful. And I think Guma and Keria go for it. This is the final. Don't get baited. There's a lot of fun champions that are being hovered here. Milio to me would be the most obvious one. I do think that the combination is the strongest. If Guma and Keria end up losing, that's it for me. That's the end of it. That's the no. Okay. If this bot lane can't get it done, then I don't know if anyone can. As Paze and Lahens will be piloting Aphelios Lulu. Now, I do think Paze had a bit of a drop-off, particularly when it came to the internationals, but still, for a rookie, I think his year was absolutely incredible, and him and Lahens is going to be really fun, because I do think Delight was such a really big part of what made Gen.G special, but Lahens is the same type of player, right? He has this level of impact that I think Gen.G is going to need if they want to take out T1 here.
I'd agree. I think they're both as impactful as one another.
Very different
ways.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Lahens sometimes in a negative way, sometimes in a way that you don't expect.
That you don't really understand.
No, you don't. But sometimes it just works, you know? And also, I mean, this was where he was making all of his crazy plays and playing things like Elise support and stuff like that. That happened while he was on Gen.G, I believe, a little bit. Prior to that, of course, with Griffin was doing the same thing. But it does tie the team together a little bit, right? Because you got Canyon and Coach Kim who know each other, Lahens and Chovy that know each other. You've got, like, there is tie-ins. Of course, Keen hasn't played with these players prior to this outside of Lahens, who, of course, he came over from KT with. I wanted to say that he was on an island in top lane, but him and Lahens just spent a year playing together. So never you mind. That joke is just not possible.
Lahens also loved going to top lane.
He did.
He was a big fan.
No, not top lane. It was Krugs.
Yeah, just anywhere where he could go that wasn't his lane.
Yeah.
We do have the Nico being picked up for Faker here, so T1 is looking to go towards the more skirmish, early game heavy style. That obviously, if you're a team, and I think this is really important, that has been playing together for a while, being able to try and go for these really aggressive strategies has a higher chance of working out if you are in sync, if your lane states are good, if you're able to rotate well for early objectives, if you're 2v2, you're in your jungle, in your bot lane, is looking good. There are a lot of opportunities. You're also playing into Corki, Lulu, and Aphelios. So already, Gen.G's basically saying we are going to give up a little bit of early game. And what is particularly important for me is that these are the teams that everyone is going to look towards for defining the meta that we have in the LCK at the moment. And right now, the meta is in such a state of flux, given that it's a new patch. No one has any idea, but why would we care about that when we just can go back to Jarvan?
Just play Jarvan seems to be the way to do it. We were hovering some Briar. That's not going to happen. It is just going to be Jarvan. Gen.G to round out their roster now. We'll see what they're going to put together here. We're looking for a top laner and a jungler. As there's Cassante. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I guess. He was banned both games in our last series. And is now going to be snapped up by Keen. Chovy very jealous of the fact that Keen gets to play the Cassante. because, of course, he loves that champion.
And two main options jump out to me. There is the Gwen and there is the Malphite. Now, Malphite is a pick we often see into Aphelios, makes his life very, very unenjoyable, particularly when you add the Jarvan to that. The Gwen is what I think Zeus will go towards, very much his style of champion. Loves playing these aggressive type of picks.
Ooh.
As Kenyan actually going to go for the Rel here, so...
The support, the jungle Lulu is actually really interesting tech from back in the day. Spirit and Peanut, both players that did play that about 4 years ago. So Canyon going to be back to his AP jungler roots.
There you go.
Excited to see how that one's going to go. We'll see how quickly he builds his Trinity Force. Which is actually the build we saw, I think, from Peanut. Gwen going to be locked in, though, here for Zeus towards that top side of the map. It's going to provide a split push threat and has been an answer to Cassante for a while. Notably going to be buffed next patch. Love to see that.
Yeah, Gwen, I do think, is in a great state at the moment, but that is also because a lot of the items that she utilizes are kind of busted. Also, the ability to now go for things like not only Nashers and Leandros,
wow, this is a really interesting flex. They're moving Rel to jungle. Did you see that coming?
I know you're joking, and I will not stand for it, Atlas. The Rel jungle, obviously, some great plays that we saw from Oner. I also think it makes sense with the Corki. The one thing that the Genji comp was missing was a surefire way to engage. Cassante is great frontline, but not great engage, and this gives Genji a lot more agency that with the Lulu they would otherwise be lacking. And you know, it also means that Canyon doesn't actually need his jungle camps. Rel was amazing at clearing grubs. Chovy can hark up all that farm.
Oh, true. Chovy could also help out as well. Fast bomb, things like that. Gatling gun. You can start getting through those grubbies himself. We'll see how it is going to go. Of course, T1, no changes for the roster. They still have all of that synergy to play around. A tough task for Genji day one. See how they do as we hop onto the Rift.
소환사의 협곡에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
And we have the team chant leaders as well coming out once again. Really cool stuff. For T1, it was Wolf and Antara leading the charge, and it was the Genji players leading for themselves earlier on. That's really, really cool.
That's a cool move. Leading a chant for yourself.
Yeah, right?
That's a power move.
That is a power move. That is definitely a power move.
Want to highlight a few things. We saw Aphelios in the previous game go for Barrier and Fleet. Pace has gone for PTA and Exhaust. So still a lot of power. Well, I think the Exhaust also could be good against the Nico.
And the Gwen.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I think even if you exhaust Gwen, if Zeus is on top of you...
If you're in range to exhaust, you're probably dead. That's a really good point.
Lulu will help out a decent amount. So
maybe it helps you feel better about the situation if you have exhaust.
It will do that. I don't know if it'll make a meaningful difference, but we'll have to see.
It's like having a life vest on a speedboat. You know, if you fall out of the boat, I mean, you're probably going to be a long way away from the boat. Okay, the life vest won't help that.
But a life vest also has an extra benefit, which is that you're very easily spottable.
Yeah, that's true, actually. And I guess you float, and that's handy. Wear a life vest.
Preferable.
Yeah, that's
another big question that I am going to have is to what extent, as we did, easy to forget, Paze's Aphelios is quite exceptional. To what extent is Gumayusi Keria going to make this Lucian work? If I am not mistaken, Lucian hasn't won in LAC or LCK yet.
Definitely hasn't in LCK.
No,
we have a sample size of 2.
Yeah. But if I remember correctly, it has just not been successful in general. Obviously, level 1 always going to be a little bit rough against the Lulu, so no surprises there. Second is, what is Chovy's build going to be? Because I've already, similar to Udyr, seen a lot of builds, and Manamune is kind of a given, but outside of that, I've seen Malignance.
I just want the Trinity Force, like Muramana and Infinity Edge come back.
Yeah, I don't think
that's... As an old man, you know, that's just my time for returning. And you can
go
now
back to
do
2014.
It again. You know, that's all I want. I want to talk about my power spikes. Papa Smithy would remember.
Well,
that's a very old joke. Very old joke.
But this is a really nice start for Paze and Lands, able to get the early level 2, then turn that into a big wave crash, and really put a lot of pressure on this turret, picking themselves up a blade right from the get-go. Also, do note Guma actually going for Dorans, which will help a lot if they are going to look for an all-in. Maybe with Oner is pathing towards bot side of the map. That ward in Tribrush is still there, but not going to stick around for much longer. But Pays in the lands, not going to risk it. I'm going to look for a back instead.
Yep. Lehens, of course, was one of the players that did continue playing Lulu even after she was nerfed just a little bit. Just really liked the champion. So not surprising that he's diverted back to her once again, even though she hasn't been her same priority level. And Canyon going to meet Oner potentially. As Oner lying in wait. Ooh, let's see whether Canyon is still close by. Ooh, we will land the snare, does Faker. But Oner, no follow-up just yet. Chickens coming on through. Oner's position going to be given away. There's a crash down. Does find a little bit of a knock-up. And of course, Lehens is here. Flag and drag. Oner looking to escape. See whether he does risk going for a bit of a contest. But with that Scryer's Bloom going off, he knows that things are looking a little bit dangerous. And yeah, Shattering Strike Smite is pretty difficult to steal against.
Yeah, so Lehens, instead of backing, they stayed in lane, made sure that Guma and Keria couldn't get too quick of a crash in, so the Pace could actually catch the full wave, and then
it's
eroded. And it is in fact happening. We are getting. We were wondering why this was going to be the case, when it would, if and when it would happen. And T1 are bringing out the double support item. This is something that we have seen a lot of. I'm sure the space will talk about it in detail a lot as well, but basically the amount of gold generation that you get in of itself is great. The fact that you get, what I assume at least for Guma will be Bloodsong, a free PTA and a free Sheen proc on an item that also gives you a ton of gold is it's good.
It's real good. I think it's especially good on Lucian because I feel like Lucian wants to build about 14 items.
Yeah.
You know, and if you get like a few of like at least budget versions of a lot of those items in one, with that one, it feels very, very nice. So Gumayusi going to go for it. We'll see how successful it's going to be, as of course him and Keria going to be getting a whole bunch of extra money. And Oner looking about grabbing himself some Kevins here, as we can see.
Just gonna
or the Void Bubs.
Different names every single time.
Yeah, I'm just like, I'm seeing which one feels better. You know, that's how you do it. That's how you learn.
Cycle for all of them.
Yeah.
Interestingly, Canyon actually not going to go for the grubs here. Instead, opting to go towards Dragon. Rel is one of the best at clearing them because she can break shields. So they die very rapidly.
So far, we have first Dragon equals victory 50% of the time.
So it's not helpful at all.
No, I'm just saying it's a 50-50, and now we might break that. And we might learn which is the stronger.
Okay.
Or at least which is more winning so far today.
Gonna find out within the next, I'd want to say 40 minutes.
Yeah, something like that.
Should be.
It's within at least the next 92 minutes. Guaranteed.
I felt pretty safe at 40, honestly.
Yeah,
like
I'm
46
never going to feel safe after that game.
Okay, that's fair. On your end.
I live in the same apartment complex as Achilles, right? So it's tough. Okay, all out. Underneath this turret here is Zeus fighting this Cassante, and I think that he wins the long fight. Even tanks a turret shot and still feels no worse for wear. A lot of biffo, not a lot of result. However, we can see that 13 CS is going to be the lead here for Zeus, building towards his Riftmaker with his Haunting Guys already completed. And us older gamers, pretty happy that Haunting Guys is back in the game. Just feels pretty good.
I just think it's a cool item. It's a cool mask. I like it a lot. I'm glad it's here. And also Gwen is very happy it's here, as the Madness passive is going to give you an incredible amount of...
double cannon miss for both mid laners.
That's rough.
Oh, it's a tough time. But still, T1 with a slight gold advantage, as the dust is all settling. A lot of it to do with the fact that Zeus is laning extraordinarily well on this Gwen. Yeah, making closer and closer, as you can see, Finish Codex already completed as well.
Yeah, making really good use of the power that Gwen has in this matchup. Matchup only got better, I think, with the new items. We already saw it pre-item rework, right, where the Gwen eventually was able to get through the Cassante, but there was also a version of Cassante that was way tankier and way harder to get through, and also a version of Gwen that I think was a lot weaker. But now it really feels like even in the laning phase, you start to kind of get bullied around and not able to really contest prio. On the flip side, though, we do see that even with a 2-played lead and a CS lead of about a wave, that pace is actually even with Guma.
Yep.
Not ahead.
There it is. Having a look at some gold here.
Oh, he's even slightly behind.
Yeah, he's slightly behind. And he has 2 plates? Is it 2 plates? Yeah,
yes.
2 plates.
2 plates and a wave.
Yeah.
So we were waiting for this strategy to come out. And with T1 picking it up, that to me feels like kind of the okay, guys, we can pick it.
Yeah, I feel like it might just be in every single game from now. Because you can just kind of build the world, Atlas, and it's fine. You know, you can just do it. You don't even need to worry about it. There are a few tactics that you can use to maximize gold and stuff like that, but you can also just ignore them and it's still good.
Yeah, that's Pico Hands right there, the aggressive heal for tempo.
Yeah. Chovy just going to be jumping in there with his Valkyrie and not really doing too much more. It's early days for the Corki, of course. Does still pretty much epitomize scaling. And Canyon just acting as some support here for the bottom side of the map. Man, I'm just waiting with bated breath to see whether Gen G have got any sort of coordination within the team just yet. Because, of course, they've only been practicing for a little while. And we do have high hopes for what this team is going to look like, but I think they're a little bit muted for at least the very beginning of this season.
And credit to T1, we do see something that they were able to do a lot throughout Worlds as well, which is continuously apply pressure in lanes, and through that build really big laning leads without anything happening, really, as of yet. The one Dragon went over to Gen G, but that wasn't even trade, as I think Ken should be able to just get these next round, the next round of Void Grubs to make sure that Oner doesn't get the full buff.
Yep.
But outside of that, T1 is 2k gold ahead at 10 minutes. Lens is also roaming away, which FaZe fortunately does have his blue gun, so at the very least they'll be able to stay in a decent space, but again, he is not going to be able to withstand the power, and it's going to have to back here, so this is a pretty big sacrifice they make for only 3 grubs. Don't even get the full package, because Oner got the first rotation, and now that gold lead is only going to get bigger.
Certainly is. Being a little bit worrying, and there it goes. So 3 apiece for both teams. Not going to have any Void Mites this time. As Chovy looking to deliver something to Zeus here. He's burning down. But I don't think it's really going to be a thing that works out. Faker teleports in, collects himself first blood against Keen. And that first one did not work out.
Big thing there is that Gwen is immune, so a lot of the damage from Chovy not actually working out. One extra rocket could have been the difference maker, but not going to be the case. And now you have a worst case scenario. Chovy used this package, didn't really get anything out of it. Keen is now 600 gold behind. And Faker picked up another kill, so he's going to have his rocket belt available for any of the upcoming fights. Zeus immediately TPing back towards the top side to apply as much pressure as possible. So take another look at the play here. And the unfortunate reality is that with the immediate TP, there just isn't that much you can do. A little bit of anti-synergy here as well as Keen drags Zeus away so that Chovy doesn't actually have an opportunity to get within the Shroud again. Just a little bit of damage could have been the difference maker. And T1 pulling at 1.5k gold lead here already at 12 minutes.
Yeah. Chemtech Drake going to be the second one. As you could see, it was getting a little bit angry at Gen G. T1 say no, you're not allowed to do a dragon. And Gen G will listen to them this time around. Zeus on a bit of a merry jaunt towards that top side of the map, but he is going to go back home. Riftmaker already completed for the Gwen. You thought he's a problem now. Wait until a couple of items, and it's only going to get worse. And I kind of agree with you, right? Like, oh, okay, he decides instead that it will be a execute that's going to take him home.
Yeah, it makes sense because they had a lot of vision towards the bot side. They knew that no one was contesting, and there's no wave for Keen to push. So like, it's not like Zeus is going to really miss anything, and you don't run the risk of getting and giving over some gold to the opponent. If Corki gets a kill, that can accelerate Chovy. Not going to be the case. And right now, Gen G, I wonder what spikes they're going to be looking for. We do have McKills already there for Lahens. Pays also has his Stormrazor available. They're going to have to pull the trigger at some point because if they just keep giving up gold, if they keep bleeding plates, At some point, it's going to be really hard to fight your way back into the game through sheer 5v5 power, which they do still have. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, they have a fair bit of it. It's not necessarily in the form of, you know, team fight coordination and initiation and things like that. Of course, like Oner and Faker together will be able to start some pretty amazing fights. I think as far as like max DPS is concerned, Chovy and Pays will be able to help out with that one. But it's getting yourself to a position where you can really make those sorts of fights happen. It's going to be quite difficult, I would say. So we'll just see how it goes. Slant's going to get caught out of position here by Faker, but does have Mikhail's done. He's going to be able to use that one on himself, and means the Faker isn't going to kill him. So that's good news here for Gen G at least. Not going to be suffering another death. Still, it's 2,000 gold the lead. It just feels like T1 are just cruising. And Gen G, it feels like they do have to do something. Pressure going to be on, and Chovy is going to answer that call just a little bit here. Fast bomb coming out, big one going to miss. As Faker gets underneath this turret, he's not out of the woods just yet though, as Canyon making his way in. He gets smoked, there's a Pop Blossom, throws Canyon into the sky, crash down. Going to be avoided there by Faker, who goes the other direction, finds the snare. The Blooming Burst come down, but Chovy was given enough time, and he'll come on over and take the kill. A bit of time has been bought though, so that means that the Rift Herald will go over to T1. Still on the board at Gen G.
And kill going over to Chovy is quite a big win. But if you have to give up, at the very least, the mid lane turret, you don't even have to invest the Rift Herald here.
Oh dear.
I don't think you're really taking that one. And now with mid lane turret gun, going to be way easier for Gen G, or for T1 rather, to generate mid lane prior, really utilize the power of that Lucian. And as we see, Chovy is scaling.
He's scaling.
He is scaling, Atlas. He did pick up a turret just now. He did get a kill. His co is done. He's going to have a lot of gold when he goes back. But one has to wonder, will there be enough? As there is the Blood Song, as we did expect. Quest is done.
Yeah, he's got the Cyclo Sword as well, going for the build Teddy went for in game number 1. There's All Out coming on in here. Zeus taking a lot of damage. This time, Gwen not as immune. However, if you don't hit him with a lot of stuff, he just runs away. Ghost was employed, and Zeus will be just fine.
And Zeus going to be able to walk away with that one. Still a window for Gen G because they are able to get more gold into Chovy. Attempt at punishing his overextension is T1, but will just be Zeus teleporting back and Gen G abandoning. No further gains to be had.
Yeah, Coast Campfire provided here for Zeus as he does make his way back in. Rift Herald now going to be ridden into this outer turret. Oner going to connect that one. And now Kane, look at all these little Void Mites coming on out after the charge. And a remount onto Shelly as she plows her way towards this turret. Does land there. Kane just going to focus on trying to tidy up the mess that is being created here by the T1 jungler. Nicely done. It's a lot of value, and the structure's really starting to fall here for Gen G. Bottom outer turret being picked up by Chovy definitely was a good thing, but the fact that T1 immediately answers just means that that gold lead remaining intact. 2,000 continues to be that number. 50 seconds on the clock on our third dragon of the game. Going to be an Infernal once again. See how they go, picking up all of these cinders that will start spawning around.
Malignant's now done for Chovy. Is going to try and use that. And we'll see if this is going to have more success. We also see, as mentioned, Gumayusi looks like he's going for the same build that we saw Teddy go for in game number 1 of the day. But we'll take Cyclo Sword into the, what was it, the Rapid Fire Cannon. However, this time around, Guma also has a free PTA built into his kit. So that should definitely help, as we do see some poke attempted to be landed here by Chovy. You are going to have to hit those rockets if you do want to get the most out of the Corki. Manamune not quite done yet. But yeah, that was not real Faker. But still, more poke is landing, and now it's starting to stick.
These rockets are scary, yeah. Faker, still a minion. He's committed. Committed to the minion playstyle. And that is not the real one. Going to be backing away. But Chovy, if he continues to land these rockets with 2 items, really is starting to become a bit of a problem here. Pays with red-white. Decent amount of ammo. Will have enough for any potential fights that do come up. And secured by Canyon. Pop Blossom finds 3 from Faker, and there's the Flag and Drag as well. The option is Pays. They're looking for him, and they will be able to get their prize here as now Gen G just running for the hills. Canyon, he should be able to walk his way out because Zeus has other things on his mind. Chovy has to flash to avoid both Zeus and Oner making their way down. Lehens gets to the safety of his turret. And Pays was taken in trade for the Dragon. Could have been worse, could have been better here as well for Gen G.
There is that synergy that we were talking about earlier. Oner and Faker really nicely coordinated on the engage. Hayes used Exhaust, Flash, although that Flash he definitely should have held, was already dead at that point. Lehens also used Heal as well as Wild Growth, and it still wasn't enough. So the Drake isn't the key objective here. T1 is looking for a really big fight. You can see that they are waiting for the moment. Faker finds the angle, and even with Pace being kept alive for a little bit, between the damage that Guma, Faker, and Oner do, he is always going to go down. The one win for Gen G is that they do actually pick up the Dragon, which I think in the grand scheme of things is quite a big win. So take another look at the play here. Yeah, look at that. Double or triple knock-up from Faker, and then the immediate double knock-up from Oner, while also ensuring that there's no counter-engage, because if Canyon can counter-engage there with his Magnet Storm, they might actually be able to salvage that fight. Again, a lot of defensive cooldowns are available for Pace, but not enough in that fight. Gen G, they're still holding on, but it feels like only 1 or 2 fights away from completely losing control over this game.
Certainly could be. And okay, Gumayusi in a whole lot of trouble. He does have a campfire, and Chovy losing out. The full culling was what he had to contend with there, and isn't actually able to secure the kill. Does get the barrier, so that is something, but still, Gumayusi just not going to be bullied. And what I was going to say before the action rudely interrupted is that T1 just have answers for what Gen G want to do. Gen G want to have that mill about moment, right? As you're setting up for these objectives, where you're trying to jostle for position, where Chovy can just rain hell down on T1. What T1 have is just hard engage from out of nowhere. And they utilized it fantastically in that Dragon fight, and if they can continue to do that, then they don't need to worry about Rockets, because they just begin a fight immediately, and then it's not quite something they need to worry about.
They also, and when we talk about scaling, it's always relative, but when you look at T1, I think most of their champions scale marginally worse, right? Looking at the...
yeah, outside of top lane.
Well, that I was leading to.
Oh.
No one matches Zeus.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think, even with the damage that we see Chovy pull out with his Malignance, I don't even think that Chovy is able to actually deal with this Gwen once Ghost is up for Zeus. If that cooldown is down, then maybe, but even then, I think it's a bit of a flip. So, T1 has a late-game insurance, but they don't really need one right now because they're also 3k gold ahead and full control of the map. They do need, I think, to break the game completely by picking up a Baron. That would mainly be what I am looking towards, because eventually, I think with current Corki, you are going to reach a point where the old Corki flashbacks come back. I forgot what the build was exactly, the Ludens, or was it the dreaded
Ludens,
Power Spike?
The Hydra.
Yeah, that was...
It was Ludens Hydra Void stuff, right? That was
yes. It was a really bad time. And even... as we have some poke coming down, even the fact that Chovy has an item with a cool name, and if you don't know what Malignance does, it gives you a lot of ultimate haste, which obviously Corki's happy about, and your ultimate leaves angry puddles on the floor.
Angry
definitely
puddles.
Shouldn't stand in, because it also shreds their armor. So it's quite good. I do think the item makes a lot of sense on Corki, and outside of that, Chovy should just be building a whole lot of AD, because Corki is a weird, like...
magic damage.
Phase. It's magic damage, but he skills with AD, but he also wants a little bit of magic pack. So so what Chovy's doing right now does definitely make sense, I think. But for now, T1 haven't pulled the trigger yet. I think they are going to be looking towards using Zeus in the side lane, and then starting up the Baron.
That's what they have done. They turned off this ward for a little while, as the teleport is going to be committed here by Zeus. They just want a 5v5. And right now you can see Keen waiting a little bit. Doesn't have a forward ward to deal with here, as Keria just going to play defense, and they're too late. Canyon not going to be able to make it in time. Gets a control ward there just to watch the Baron die. Now trying to canter his way out of here on his pants. He will be able to do so. But Gen G just caught napping a little bit there. That is a very aggressive teleport as Faker doesn't find the Pop Blossom. In goes Keen, and Faker is now going to be all outed from this fight. Canyon gets his way out, or does he, as Oner does find a flag and drag, and Faker is going to be the one to be taken down. Gen.G getting one, though, isn't quite enough to mitigate what this Baron could potentially do over the next couple of minutes.
Might be enough, though, if they can pull the trigger now to go for Dragon. And I love this from Zeus, actually starting it up, forcing the hand of Gen.G, because Gen.G have two options. Either to force Drake before Faker comes. Looks like that is what they're going to do. Faker is going to be up in 15 seconds, does have ASTP available, but I think that Gen.G might be able to get this, even with T1 having the Baron buff. The question is, can they get out?
And these rockets starting to hurt as well. T1 need to be decisive. They want to make something happen. Cozy Campfire is in there. This Dragon is going to be secured, but now the teleport's coming in. Faker, no Pop Blossom, and there's the Cataclysm. They're trying to just keep them here as Zeus gets into the backline. Chovy makes it to safety, but I don't know whether the pace is going to be so late. Never mind. He just explodes him. And now Faker's in the pit with nowhere to go. A Gravitum comes down. Moonlight Vigil is going to connect, and Faker, he is so low. A big one to the back of the head from Chovy is going to secure it once again, and Gen.G win out in multiple instances.
Soul Point set up, and whereas the previous fight was a masterclass from T1 in great coordination, this time it's disjointed. Zeus goes in after Oner finds a multi-man ultimate, but there's no follow-up. I think there T1 wanted it a little bit too badly, knew that they could look for a big team fight. And this means negative Rebel power play. T1 will maybe get a turret with it if they can get something off of the next back. But Soul Point with Infernal Soul being set up. And you see this. And Faker wants to try and cut off Keen from the rest of his team. But instead, the rest of Gen.G is ready. And Faker just ends up being overextension. That TP from Keen looked like it was going to backfire. But instead, they're up a member. And then here, again, I think this engage from Oner is great. But it just comes a little bit too early. He doesn't find a knock-up either. And when Zeus goes in, look at the rest of the team. There's no one with him. Keen is zoning Guma and Keria. By the time Faker joins, the fight is already lost.
Yeah, and Faker, of course, looking a little bit silly at the end of that because of everything that happens to begin with. And didn't have a Pop Blossom either. It is just really, really difficult. Maybe something that T1 should have just let go, but hindsight is 20/20 indeed. And they still have a decent gold advantage. But this Baron, ticking down for another 2 seconds, is a -50 on the power play. A little bit meek. I wouldn't say it's necessarily powerful this time around. The Red Bull meek play. We'll see whether the second one is going to be a little bit better though. As 2.5 minutes on the Baron, 3 minutes on the Infernal Drake. And remember, Canyon does have the Shattering Strike Smite combo. So if there is actually going to be a contest where Gen.G are near the pit, right? If T1 don't manage to pull the wool over their eyes once again, then you're not only in a shooting gallery, but you're also at a disadvantage when it comes to getting those smites. So I don't know whether the Barons are going to be as easy moving forward, but we'll see what T1 can orchestrate for themselves. As Pays, 2.5 items, or at least close to that. And this Aphelios is going to get more and more scary. As Keen, a big tanky boy.
And even though a lot of the members have changed, this is the style where Gen.G has had so much success over the last couple of years. Right, when they're able to team fight, when they're able to play around initially Ruler for, what, like 5-6 years?
Yep.
Now Pays on a hyper carry. Item breakpoints are being reached, but T1 still has this Gwen. I still don't think there's anyone that can even come close to matching Zeus. Did get set back a little bit, but still sitting on a large lead when it comes to the CS. But Keen has actually caught up when it comes to experience, so even though he's down about almost 2k gold, Keen's impact, I think, even though it doesn't really show in the kill count, has been really good in this game.
I think in the team fights, definitely. I think T1's way of winning this game is to play around Zeus in a side lane. If they can keep Gen.G at arm's length, then they should be all right. Hard engage. A little bit of a premium here for Gen.G unless Canyon can find his angle as well as possible. They do have wombo combo potential, so just let Gwen do Gwen things. They still have that gold buffer they can potentially rely upon. As Keria into Takes a little bit of damage here from Keen, but not too much to worry about. Got a big old zoom out as there's the Cataclysm from Oner. Gets a huge amount of knockups as Keen now in a different spot. As there's the three-man pop blossom as Faker comes in. He gets exhausted, but it's still enough to get the kill onto her hands. The whole bottom lane's taken down. Snip, snip, snip goes Zeus. And there's the flag drag flash from Oner to secure Chovy. 4 on the ground for Gen G. T1 with the team fight.
And it feels even until it doesn't. Almost a clean ace here. Only Canyon is able to get out with his life. And T1, if they don't win the game at the very least, they are going to do critical damage to the structures. But ends up in a few seconds. I don't think he's going to have the opportunity. And T1, out of a game that felt like it had stabilized, find the first win in this best of 3.
Yeah, well, Canyon's going to try and do it again, but there goes the Nexus. T1, the world champions take down the LCK champions in game number 1 of this best of 3. They're walking quickly towards that coach's booth to see what Coma has to say about it. There were some moments in there. I'm glad that we got to talk about Gen G and their avenues to victory, and then it was all over. And Chronicler, do you know what I was thinking? That whole final play is, this is what Poby was going for. That's what I was thinking.
You got to bring up the pogo.
I mean, yesterday he was flanking for a long time.
And I gotta say, I think this is not the most heavy on the kills, but when it comes to a game that's filled with tension, I thought this was quite a good one. I need to have a think because I need to go for a POG, and it's kind of hard in a game like this.
My POG would probably be
because I'm leaning. Yep, okay, but at the same time, the team fights were won by Faker and Oner.
Yeah, but you don't think that far.
I think I do.
You do?
I do, yeah.
But I'm just saying that, like, Zeus was only good. Oh, apart from the fact that they both did the whoopsie together.
I don't know. I think entire top side of T1 is a good choice here. And hopefully, we'll get to a third game, Atlas.
Very glad that I am not voting for that particular game. It's a tough one. See what our deskers are going to do. We're going to go to a short break. When we get back, the space will break down game 1, and we will have game number 2. See you there.
이거 떴어. 나 디테일 한번 몰래 탔어 일단. 몰래 탔어.
천천히 뭐 많이 빠졌고.
이거 보고 있다. 이거 얘네 모른다 이거.
오케이. 앞에 가볼게. 천천히. 해볼게.
봐봐.
나 막혀당한.
야 본다.
천천히. 봐줘. 아래.
걸렸어.
아래. 앞에. 도대. 잠깐만.
오자.
더블킬 노프리만 해. 프리.
나한번 돼.
펄기.
라인.
이거 내려올 수 있다 래.
내가 막게. 여기 있다. 이거 내가 갈게. 이제 와봐.
끝낼만 한번.
끝낼만해.
내일은 희망일 뿐 약속된 건 없어. shapes I used to take. Hollow like a strong man, but it's easier to push away. 'Cause it could all end here with a straight daylight caught in our eyes, and my shadow is stretching out through all the things I left behind. It's in my blood, it's in my veins. Oh, it's in my blood, it's in my veins. Got my heel crushing the snake. There is nothing you can take. In my blood, it's in my veins. I'm still here. Maybe it's a far stretch that I won't come undone, but I will brave the cold edge to finish up what I've begun. 'Cause it could all end here with the strange daylight caught in our eyes, and my shadow stretching out. Is it all enough this time? I'm still here. Reasons cut like knives, keep on playing in my mind. All the times I've had to fight, I'm still It's in my blood, it's in my veins. I'm still
Hello and welcome back to the space. I'm still Valdez with Ox and Wolf, and we're going to break down that game number 1 from Gen.G and T1, which T1 was able to eventually take, although it was pretty close there in the middle of the game. T1 with one big team fight was able to take it all. So let's break down the draft. What did you guys think about this one going into it?
I mean, it became pretty clear early on when the Nico was locked in that T1 were going to have to dive the Aphelios, dive the Corki with this draft. Followed up with the Jarvan. The Gwen feels pretty good at K'Sante in general, even with some of those new MR items coming through, but it can follow up really well on that Nico ult, on the Jarvan ult. So it really became, to me, after looking at this draft, like I thought Gen.G had a slight edge. It really just depended on whether those engages could happen for T1. And ultimately, they really did. Faker made some fantastic engages happen. Oner followed up really well. So did Zeus. And it was a draft where execution mattered a lot.
Yeah, I think we compared the first series of the day. We saw a similar thing where Nongshim had this sort of comp that Gen.G did. Really strong front to back, really strong scaling. And it was up to DRX to sort of have that burden of execution. And they didn't succeed, but T1 just showing, kind of why they're the world champions. That prowess in team fights, able to find some beautiful engages, and particularly Oner and Faker working so well in tandem.
Yeah, sometimes it just comes down to a couple of really strong team fights, and T1 really did execute and show that off in this one. We can take a look at some of those team fights. Starting off with this first one at 23 minutes at the Drake. Well, sorry, before we do get into that, forgot about this one. We have a very important lower third. Ox, take us through it.
Yeah, so we saw the double support item, the double World Atlas coming in, and I actually wanted to highlight because Pays was up in farm. He had almost 200 extra gold in terms of plates, and yet he was down overall gold against Gumayusi. And if we look at the support difference, Keria had 700 extra gold. And this is essentially the strategy with this, right? You've got the Blood Song for the Lucian, which is obviously quite strong. It's super cheap, it's valuable. But just the gold generated, despite the fact that we saw Gumayusi down in terms of CS, in terms of plates, he was up ahead, and that is the man himself, World Atlas. Thank you very much.
Yeah, the item itself obviously generated a lot of gold, and what the item does is basically gives you a Sheen proc as well as some vulnerability. He didn't really get that much value out of the item itself, and a lot of those skirmishes didn't go his way. It was really actually not about him, but we did want to highlight how this is a viable strategy, and until patch, I think we're going to see it quite a lot.
Yeah, we probably should. I mean, after looking at those numbers. Let's take now a look at the first highlight, this Drake fight that we did have 23 minutes in.
Yeah, this ends up being one of the pivotal fights here in this game, and Oner chunked down to half your Zeus in the pit. And you can see that obviously T1, if they're not all grouped together, if the engages aren't actually landing, it can be quite a difficult team composition to pilot here. Faker doesn't have ultimate when he teleports back into this fight, and Gen.G were just way better set up. If you don't have the tools to fight, this comp just doesn't really do a whole lot, especially when you're playing keep away against all that poke.
Yeah, I think they should have just let the Dragon go at that point. Obviously, they thought, we'll try and make a fight out of this. We've just lost this big objective, but the lack of Nico world, you could see Oner going in, was trying to set up the Gwen, but it just didn't quite work. She got bursted out. A lot of things went wrong there, and it kind of shows that even though T1 obviously managed to deliver later, if you mess something up, it'll quickly fall apart against Gen.G's comp.
Yeah, definitely felt a bit forced from T1, and Gen.G were able to capitalize on that. And they were kind of cruising through the mid-game towards a late-game stage that we thought should be good for Gen.G. But then this happened, and, just a flank teleport, pretty classic, but very clean from T1.
And I love this from Oner, to hold them in place, and then Faker approaches. There just isn't a chance for them to really escape from this situation. The flank is beautiful as it comes in, and they just completely clean sweep them.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of disrespect here for Gen.G. I think trying to push those advantages, trying to finally get that mid turret down to have a little bit more space for this Corki. But when Oner has that type of angle, and you know that Faker is wrapping around, or you should have an idea that he's going to come around, the fact that Jarvan could just hold them there really seals the deal, and that's the game-winning and game-ending play there for T1.
Yeah, to be honest, after I was seeing Lucian attempting to do damage in the mid-game, I was like, man, looks like Gen.G are pretty set, but one team fight does it all. We do have the PUG ready to go. Let's see who does pick it up here on the side of T1. It will be Faker, and I feel like, just great flanks. There was that one iffy bit with the Dragon, but overall, some of his Nico plays were pretty good.
100% KP. Not shocking to see, starting off with this really big teleport play here to the top side. Keen, massive overextension here, does end up getting punished. Chovy not able to offer anything once Faker is there. But really, it was about these massive engages, this flash here for the triple knockup, this followed up on by Oner, by Zeus. These types of plays are what defined this game for T1. We knew the draft was going to be all about this. This is Oner setting up Faker for the wraparound. He lands the knockup once again, another triple. You have to hit these, you have to be able to get these flanks, and Faker did it every time.
Yeah, and I want to give kind of an honorable mention to Oner because him and Faker performed so well, and especially going up against Chovy and Canyon, that was the big ask for this duo who we've seen so many times before. Is can you match up to two individually such strong members? And the answer in this game was yes.
Yeah, shoutouts to the one vote for Oner. I'm surprised it was only one.
Yeah, just the one. Also had a media vote for Zeus. Pretty interesting. Did some damage on Gwen. Either way, very nicely done from the guys on T1. We are going to drop it over to Atlas and Chronicler for game number 2.
Thank you very much, and also thank you to whoever made that graphic. The best part about it, and Chronicler, you actually reminded me about this, is the fact that that was when we all had my haircut. You, me, and Lyric.
Yes.
All together.
We were all Atlas on
all
that day.
Atlas. So they chose the one image of us on a Worlds desk as all Atlas. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful.
It's
Needed
too good.
to give you the added context there as we get into game number 2. We'll see whether T1 can do it again or whether Gen G are going to be able to answer and bring us to a final game. Gen G going to choose the red side this time around. Means that we will have a side swap.
I don't mind it. I would not be surprised if we end up seeing the counter pick going over to Keen. To me, Keen with a counter pick, he's one of the players you can trust. Zeus is another one, but Keen has been able to pull out some crazy rabbits. Last split, his Quinn is one that I still think of
his
very
Rise,
fondly.
man.
His Rise, another really good one. I'm glad you highlighted. I'm also wondering if we're going to continue to see the Udyr ban as the Corki remains banned, or remains relevant, unfortunately. In this case, though, I think it makes sense because T1 probably want a B1 Azir, which is very in line with what we've been seeing so far in Challengers as well. And you don't want a B1 Azir if Corki is available, because Akali is the counter pick that we often see, but very different style of counter pick, where I think there's a lot more room to pressure, as even though Lucian remains, I think, one of the most disliked picks when it comes to how high his priority is versus his success, will still remain very high on the prior list here for both of these teams. It's going to get banned away by T1. And Azir, to me, is kind of the standout. We'll see if that is what they open with.
Yep, Azir is going to be snapped up with the Orianna banned away. That does make a heck of a lot of sense. And now we'll see exactly where Gen G are going to go in response. Some champions that have been banned away quite a lot recently have been things like Kalista and Varus, if you're looking at the bottom side of the map. But Cassante has been seeing a lot of bans, but I don't think they're going to be blind picking that one unless they want to flex it into the hands of Chovy. And Cassante into Azir doesn't sound like the most fun time. So here we go. Looks like Pays will be heading towards the Varus. A little bit dangerous when you can get swept up a little bit by
we all know.
good old Azir, indeed. As Rakan going to be the consideration for Lehens for the moment. They will lock that one in. Now T1 to round out their first round of picks.
So the one pick that is still available that has been very high on the prio list and has been banned very often is the Kalista.
Yep.
But I do think that Varus is one of the picks that actually matches it decently well. Based on how Keria is looking, though, I think we might have something a little bit more spicy ahead of us. I actually thought they were going to go for Poppy, because Oner plays with Poppy. But
all right,
this
the
is why they were
Zeus
giggling. We'll see what build Zeus actually goes for. As mentioned, I feel like Udyr is one of those champions where you can make an argument to build literally anything.
Was it you that was telling me that apparently Zeus has been experimenting with lethality?
With lethality Udyr. I think it was Valdes who mentioned it. But yes, that is a thing that happened. I would not love the counter pick to be Cassante. It doesn't really excite me. That is what Keen is going towards. I think it was fine in that game. Obviously, he's stuck in a counter matchup. It is quite rough, but we'll see. Gen G, in that previous game, I think mechanically did a pretty decent job, but you did see, which makes sense, this team has completely shifted how it plays. Obviously, Lehens is back, but he only played with Chovy, not with Pays. Pays and Chovy are still there, but with Canyon and Keen, you have such a different style. And we know how big Peanut was to the success of Gen G. Getting so much credit from the entire team and the staff many a time. And it wouldn't surprise me if Gen G needs some time to calibrate. And against T1, I don't think they're getting a whole lot.
Yeah, right out of the gate, it's not to be expected that they will be at their potential.
I want free games, so I'm hoping that they can
it'd be nice. Oh, the Brand going to be banned away here, aimed against Canyon. Brand jungle, really starting to stir things up. Could be going in a whole bunch of places, though. Just have to see, but that's going to be saved for another day. Of course, Canyon does like to be the first one to start playing stuff. in the jungle. That's sort of the thing that this guy has been known for a very long time. Sort of pioneered the Nico jungle era. There's only a couple of players that even really tried it. There's Brad to be removed from Keria's playlist. He's got so many options though, so 4 bans towards Keria.
It's so interesting how quickly we should, because Rumble, for example, is just going to fall through this draft. Like, this is why I love early metas, especially in this case where preseason was basically not a thing. We are seeing the priority shift so insanely quickly, and the Oner being picked up over the Rumble, I would not have believed you if you told me that. Even a few days ago, this is one of Chovy's most iconic picks. That is a pick that I think is also something that he excelled at, but hasn't really been in the meta for quite a while. We're going to try and really bully this Azir early, try and get as much of the shove as possible. Oh no.
That's a Zeri.
No, not this after Corki as well. He wouldn't do that to us.
Well, he's only hovering for now. See whether it is the Neela.
Wouldn't mind that.
Gumayusi does tend to like being the first guy to play Neela, and I was thinking that this was the other option, is the Kalista, that Keria is instantly going to hover, and there is Senna. And I actually had Senna on my mind, but I thought that Gumayusi, it was going to be the Lee Sin Senna that they have played before.
Yeah.
And then you can flex things all over the place, find yourself a different jungle matchup, but jungle has been left until last, and so that counter pick option not going to be there.
Maokai.
The Maokai.
Yeah, I am not convinced by this Gen G draft, Atlas.
I think it would have worked that patch a while ago where Maokai was strong.
Yeah, like patch like halfway through summer.
Yeah,
this would have been a
halfway.
Great draft in patch 13 point summer.
It also would have been banned, most of the bits of it.
Yeah, okay, but we're going to gloss over that.
So does that mean Paze is paying lethality Varus? We actually just like pretending that it's like last year? Oh no. Well, we know how it works in theory.
Oh, we've seen this comp a million times.
Yeah.
You get early prior with Tristana, you have Maokai for the setup and the counter engage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You also have Buster Shot into the Apotheosis, which is kind of handy. You can tell Neela to go away, please.
Okay, comfort matters. This is a team that is made of players.
Oh, he's hunting. He's hunting for the straws.
You gotta give me something now.
Yeah, where are they? We should just keep like a stack of straws on the desk so that you can grasp at them when you need to. Because we're out of them right now.
Well, I don't carry any on hand. I wasn't thinking I was going to be grasping straws, but I gotta say, T1's composition obviously is a little bit funky. We have the Neela Senna, which we know that they play well, but can be a bit of a wild card. And from Gen G, the champions are solid, just that they haven't really been meta for quite a while. We'll see if that's for good reason or not, because otherwise, might be going home early tonight, Atlas.
Certainly is looking a little bit dire here. Let's see how it goes. We hop onto the rift.
소환사의 축복에 오신 것을 환영합니다.
I have a feeling that there are mainly T1 fans in the audience here today. That's what I'm hearing. Lol Park kind of erupting a little bit as T1's chant does ring through.
Atlas, you could say that on a nun.
Yeah, this is a fair bit of damage onto Keria. It does have to flash very early on, Piercing Darkness, just to make sure that Gumayusi is going to be A-OK. And that is going to work out. Meanwhile, on the other side of the map, Keen has taken a damage or two. Has had to use his Ghost. So we've got a trade of Summoner spells. And I guess Lahan's also used his Ignite. So it's going to be positive for T1.
And they are going to start towards the red side of the map here. So might have some vertical jungling happening because Keria needs to really respect. Normally, I think the level 1 of Senna is something that you really want to play towards. But now, I don't know if that's really going to be something you can do. They're actually using, that's really interesting, using the Oner here to allow Oner to clear through the Raptor camp faster. Very cute tech here.
Good old fire circle assistance. Love to see it. Canyon going to be by himself on his one, as that is a grand entrance. Nicely done there by Lahens. 0 follow-up, but looked cool. Definitely did.
Yeah, there was no E available for Paze, so you can't really do that much. Also, you don't have your Blight yet, so you really want to try and get that. Halo Blades does mean that this is going to be lethality, as we do with the vertical jungling here. Both junglers are aware that is what's happening. I say vertical jungling, though. I would not be surprised if Canyon is only able to get himself this and not more, because as we can see, Faker's actually doing just fine. Also had what is probably the most iconic play of Lost Worlds.
Yeah.
Against his predecessor on the same champion.
So you're saying that he's pretty good at Azir?
Yes, I would say so. And I think Azir is obviously in a great spot right now. We'll see if Guma and Keria are able, even with no flash being available, I do think that the power level of this Nilah Senna is really hard to deal with. And if they can just stay in lane relatively evenly, then they are going to win out with the passive. As Zeus doing what Udyr does, just having a great old time proxying.
Yep. Living his best life. We'll see what the build is going to be. Whether he's going to have the third unique one of the day. Would be very cool. Because we had a little bit of damage mixed in from Zundin.
So Keria doesn't have flash.
Oh, was he just spotted? Yeah, he was.
They did spot him. I don't know if it is going to matter, though. We'll see. Keria, it just hits level 3. Gumayusi has cleanse, not really that juicy of a target, even though his health bar is lower, and doesn't look like they're really going to be able to do anything here.
All right, Chovy jumping on in as Oner turns up. Does find the reset, and there is the flash away from the Sonic Wave. Still, flash does come out, gets the thumbs up there from Chovy. As we can see, Canyon prioritizing some shellfish here. We'll see how he does. Yeah, that is going to be the secure. And gets his way out.
So, kind of rough there for Gen G. So, they aren't able to make anything happen towards the bot side of the map. Oner is going to be a buff up. He's going to get a triple buff, whereas Canyon only got his own blue buff. And then outside of that, isn't able to pick up the bot side scuttle, even though his bot lane is cryo. He did pick up the Croaks, but that really isn't going to feel too great. Still a trade that Oner is happy to take. Only thing is that Oner did use his flash, but he traded for Chovy's. So I think he's still going to be decently happy. And to me, the question is, what does Guma pick up? Is he actually going to go for the double support item again? Doesn't look like he wants to do it, and I think it does make sense on the Nilah. Might be a lot harder to... Because I think you can do it for other items, but you mostly want to do it for Bloodsong. And I can imagine on Nilah it's harder to proc reliably than it is on the Lucian. We'll see. Maybe he picks it up later. As Zeus, I'm not loving the Cassante counter pick, Atlas.
Yeah, but I'm loving the Udyr, man. It's inspiring me. Maybe I'm not just going to only play Garen. Maybe I'm going to play Garen and Udyr.
Yeah, but I feel like with Udyr, we're just in the honeymoon phase. Like, oh, cool, a new champ. And then within, I'm going to say 2 weeks, we're like, oh, it's Udyr. He has free prio in every lane.
No, but I love that. Remember, I'm a Garen player.
Okay, yeah. You know what?
You know how many years it's been.
I don't know what the opposite of preaching to the choir is, but that's what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, you're preaching to the wall or something.
To the wall?
I'm not sure.
I think
what's on the other side of the choir?
I don't know.
All right. Oh, somehow Keria threads that needle. Looking really nice. Zeus living his best life between the inhibitor turret and the inner. As, yeah, we don't really have too much action. However, Oner looking to try and change that just a little bit. This time, Chovy no flash. But should be able to make his way out. Does give the good old thumbs up as Canyon is having a bit of a battle with a dragon. Going to call in some reinforcements here as Pays and Lahens turn up as well. Chovy, some honey fruit, going to be gifted to him. As Ward goes down, but Oner knows that he's not going to be able to dive into 4 people. Unless something can happen here as Gumayusi diving forward. We do have Lahens making his escape as Faker can't team up with the rest of them just yet. Oh, unless... No, not quite the angle. Rocket Jump going to get Chovy to safety. So Gen G, nice and successful, secure themselves the first dragon of the game.
Despite the double unless, not a lot happening there. I actually thought that they might go for it. Lahens really taking a big risk there because he took the Senna binding through the rest of his team and it was okay, but that could have really backfired. Would be one of the most Lahens plays possible to just doom your team to certain death. Gen G do get away with the early Drake, which they're going to be happy about, but they do have to pay for it, I think, pretty dearly. Especially because Lahens did get chunked substantially, meaning Pays is alone in this lane, not having the best of time. So it takes a hit there. trying to set up for Lehens, but Keria and Guma not going to get caught that easily.
Yeah, Apotheosis is going to pull them both in. Just going to get Pays down a little bit low. Of course, Lehens welcomed back to the lane by a delivery of 50% on his health bar.
And this is also the power of the Nila. They are both level 6.
Yeah.
Like Lehens just hit 5. Like just a few seconds ago.
Whose jungle is this?
It's not Maokai's, I know that.
I feel like it might be Oner's jungle. Oh man, imagine.
Oh, that would
imagine if he had
I think Canyon hurt. He kind of deserved that, man. He's been having a rough time.
He certainly has. Still within touching distance, looking for the Nature's Grasp. And once that does come in, there will be a bit of power added to Genji. Similar flavor of composition than the last one, with Chovy playing once again an AD carry. Taking a bit out of the Chaos playbook from Season 1.
It's really all about throwbacks for you tonight, huh?
Well, it really is. I mean, he's playing Tristana and Corki, right? Like two of the original AD carries of bottom lane. So that is what he's going for this time around. Shout out to any Baylife fans from TSM
from way back
2011. Good times. Faker here in mid lane, clearing out the minions. Is down a little bit in farm, but nothing to worry about whatsoever. And with Chovy now going back, should be able to even things out on that score. Keen looking a little bit worse for wear. And having a look at the items, we've learned nothing yet as to what Zeus is going to be building. I'm just hoping it is just one damage item and full tank. That's what I want.
I think it's just full tank. But hopefully he'll learn from Dundon.
I think Dundon had the right idea though. Like, become at least a small amount threatening.
All reliable always has the right idea, Atlas.
Yeah.
I just don't know if everyone else will follow. We'll see if he picks up a Haunting, guys. We can rejoice. Otherwise, probably just going to be the full tank build coming through from Zeus, who is fighting.
Going all out. Zeus is going relatively low. He can press W for that shield, does do so, gets a whole bunch of his health back, and Keen has pressed so many buttons, and it is done next to nothing. Does call in the tree, as there's the Dawning Shadow, and first blood goes to Zeus! Oh no! Chovy should be able to get this kill, but I feel like the damage has almost been done. Oh, this is so silly. It's taking them forever! Oh, okay, Zeus will be taken down. The Arcane Smash going to help get some CC there. Oh, dearie me.
Starting to see why Udyr was banned.
Well, Oner is also going to find Chovy face checking this brush. Kick does come back. Faker also going to be delivered an assist. And even Zeus gets an assist on it.
I want you to
and chances of winning, yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, I don't even want to get into that. Look at the amount of control that they have as well, right?
Yeah.
You have look at the top side. You got what, 5-6 wards throughout all of that. Oner's going to be picking up. I think he got all 3 last time. I don't know if Canyon got 1, but he's definitely going to get 5 out of 6 here. Is Oner. So actually, he picks it up. But T1 going to be very happy with that.
Void Mites
picking up this many. And it looks like, based on the number on the screen, actually Canyon didn't get any, didn't actually have the prio. Because Chovy got killed. He got 1v1. Well, Faker helped a little bit, as Zeus, I guess.
I mean, technically 3v1.
Yeah, okay, but that didn't feel like that, did it?
No, it didn't.
And now, Genji, still in this game. You know, 2k gold deficit at 11 minutes. It's bad. It's not insurmountable, but it's about the feeling. And if we don't see any big plays coming out from Genji, it's going to be even more of an uphill battle. And the big difference with last time is that it is not like Genji has a really necessarily big scaling advantage. Has really nice catch here. Buster shot unfortunately doesn't do it.
뺐다. 개 멋있다. 나이스. 얘 텔은 잠깐만.
We might get a translation of what he
Drakes
exactly
would be
said.
big though.
Yeah, okay, Oner going to go in. Not going to be able to steal away the Drake. And now Gumayusi. Okay, Nature's Grasp going to come down. Twisted advance to try and push the Neela back. Gumayusi should die here. And they actually use the ultimate beautifully from Canyon to make sure that the result isn't going to be there. Another Infernal Rift. 3 in a row. And Genji even out the kill score. So nicely done. Zeus, I love that we just keep watching the Udyr leaning against the Cassante. Sad times for Keen there towards that top side. So we're just doing our defense as best we can. Lehens regretting his decision to go in there. Pays with some free time in the bottom side of the map. We'll clear out that lane.
Now, if you're an optimist, if you're a glass half full kind of person, Then Genji just got a dragon.
Yep.
They got 2 drakes, you know, and Inferno is on the board.
Oh dear.
Surely he doesn't get away, just walk away, right?
So many of the plates. As Keen has gone all out, Dawning Shadow comes in yet again. Zeus doesn't have a whole lot. He can just walk real fast though. Oner's moving up, and now Keen is the one that could just be dead. No, not going to be the case. They don't want to rub salt in the wound. Good guy T1 going to be able to let him live for now. Very kind of them. Oh dear. This Udyr situation is getting a little bit out of hand. However, Keen has evened out farm. That is certainly a good thing. He has that item with a name that I don't understand. It does just look like a Gacha Claw though. So maybe I can just call it a Gacha Claw.
The claw. Just call it the claw?
The Claw. Yeah.
From the movie?
Yeah, from the Toy Stories.
Oh no, I mean the claw from Liar Liar. The claw.
Oh,
it's the claw.
that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But don't the minions also say that claw in
I don't know. I have
Toy Story? No.
As we take a look at this one, Guma unfortunately a little bit too far forward, and against Maokai in particular, can't really afford that. I wonder if T1 was looking to go a little bit more aggressive there, but obviously Maokai has not been in the meta for such a long time. Forget what his ultimate does.
Well, Keen doing some punching and fighting and stuff, and there says circle. And that is precisely the outcome of the situation. It's gone for the Frozen Fist, so it is going to be the full tank Udyr build. Making me a little bit sad. I really want to see the Leandri's version. I want that circle to hurt, you know? As Canyon going to be punching Oner away, finds a twisted advance now.
No!
Corruption. Oh, the anti-synergy. Doesn't matter. Hey, he's still going to be able to grab that kill. So it's as if he landed the ult. Right, guys? Just had to put a rocket jump on cooldown.
He didn't have to use his ultimate. Although it is lethality Varus, so like your ultimate, doesn't really matter. You have so much ability haste just from your items that I do think that you're not too bothered. As I wonder
if you're really worried about it, you can build the Hex Plate, right?
Sure.
There you go.
That solves the issue. New items give us a lot of opportunities. Kind of wondering what items Zeus was going to go for, or Pace rather was going to go for. As we do take a look at the plates, I haven't really been talking about them that much, but the combination of the Senna relentlessly pushing, plus Zeus with Perma Cryo, plus Faker with Nashor's first has just not been a good time for the base of Genji. At large, a lot of plates have been taken, but the gold is getting close to being even. It's only for a second because mid lane turret is about to fall, and once mid lane turret falls, the gold lead is going to be in favor of 2-1 again. Oh. But it is better than it was, and it might have an angle here. No, they don't.
The turret goes down.
Turret's even gone. Oh, come on.
Yeah, the mites were cans in that particular position. Chovy going to try and answer here towards the bottom side, rapidly firing down this turret. We'll be able to collect that one there. Chovy alone in a side lane. His natural habitat, his preferred location. And the explosive charge going to secure that one. So happy times, at least in this small moment.
So if they get this dragon, actually really like Genji's chances, because I do think that a double AD carry composition with a Infernal Soul is going to be feeling great. Now, will they kill Zeus? Eventually, yes, because he is just building Frozen Heart next because he's playing into a full AD composition, which we haven't really talked about, but Genji doesn't have any source of AP. I guess Paze eventually could pivot as Lehens.
Ow. Goes back, snares up Paze as well, as Lehens dashing around. Did have to use the ultimate. And will survive, but it looked a little bit dicey there. Bit of a battle towards the top side. Wet Noodles out.
That's big though, because they didn't invest that much. Only the Clans of Guma. Whereas Genji most definitely did.
Well, there's the Emperor's Divide used defensively here by Faker as Chovy gets on over there. There's the kill to start this one off. Nature's Grasp going to miss onto Oner. They got their target that they were looking for. T1 continuing to push though here as we head towards the mid lane, and Lehens not going to stop this. Looks like Soul Point going to be the priority for Genji, but is sacrificing this inner turret going to be worth it is the answer.
If they get it. If they get it, yes. If Oner steals it, absolutely not.
Well, Resonating Strike not going to come in, and the kick going to be used on Chovy just to get him out of there. Red buff now going to be looked at here by Oner, but look at this. It's an inhibitor turret and an inner.
Guys,
I'm going to say almost not worse, as Chovy going to bust a shot Gumayusi away. He has a blast cone there. All out going to be used by Keen here as he finds Keria. And Keria nowhere to go. Oh, flashes into the wall. That is not what you're looking for. Almost a double kill for Keen, as Gumayusi goes down as well. But the damage has kind of been done.
No, I'm still calling worth. Your main carries are fed. You set up soul points. You do pay for it very, very heavily. I do like the call from T1 to just fully send it and not care at all. A little bit overzealous, but it ends up working out. But Gen.G, if they get Infernal, so I think it's going to solve so many of the issues that they will run into otherwise. As we do see T1 wanting to contest here, I think looking for the collapse with their bot lane duo as well, but then Gen.G calling their bluff, and the CC chain, once it starts landing, is really strong. Big heads off to the layering there, actually able to get Haze's ultimate. Nicely done. And then here, Keria and Guma, they knew what was going to happen. The moment that they kept pushing, not just for the inhibitor turret as well. Keria, tragic flash, don't think would have gotten out otherwise, but maybe with the little embers on the floor, it could have been enough. But at the same time, this feels somewhat similar to last game, and we all know how that one ended. So I'm not getting my hopes up just yet for a game Atlas, but it's not looking bad.
It's on the cards. I think it's still in the deck, you know?
Look at that. He built a new item. It's opportunity.
Yeah, there's an opportunity for victory.
I don't...
Oh, look at that drifting. Love to see that.
Both hubris and opportunity give play-by-plays too much power. I don't like it.
No. We would never do that. Me and Medic, both of us, never said anything that's not just the best. Just straight up and down what it is, you know? As we do have the Rift Herald charging into the inner turret, that is going to remain standing for now, but last legs just a little bit there. As Oner looking to steal away yet another buff, and does so.
Meanwhile, in mid lane, or sorry, any side lane really, Chovy
doing some hitting structures and owners. Did do that. So the turret in mid lane going to be faring the same way as the inner on bottom side. But this is still the outer turret that Gen.G have yet to deal with, and they don't have an inhibitor turret in the mid lane. So we've got some work to do. And they have a composition that does kind of like having some map control, setting up some sieges, being able to move your vision line forward, stuff like that. It is not something that they have the ability to do just yet. Getting set up around these areas is tough, as Baron's purple glare moving towards the pit as Chovy almost avoids the Emperor's Divide.
And basically, if you're wondering, opportunity, there's two really cool new items. Hubris is my favorite, where every kill you get statues in base, and then the statues give you AD when you kill someone. Opportunity is kind of the opposite, where
it takes statues away from your base?
No, when you're out of combat for I think it's 8 seconds at a time, you get extra lethality. So it's great for poke. It's great if you're something like Rengar that deletes people in the first couple of seconds. Oner.
Yeah, he is going to get CC'd forever and die. So that blue buff kind of costing him just a little bit there, as we could see, and in fact wasn't able to secure that either.
You know,
blue rotating around Gen.G.
I think that was because of the new rift. It just takes some time to get used to.
Yeah. No, I completely agree. Chovy clearing out minions towards that top side. An opportunity to potentially get towards a Baron pit, but there is Scuttle Vision available for T1. So Gen.G would be giving full information over. Taking this out of turret top lane, certainly going to be helping out though, and they might move towards a gold advantage for the first time this game. And it's not quite there yet, 200 gold, but not too much in it. I have a game on our hands, and it was looking a little bit off the rails in the early stages of the game.
It's the first time they get a gold league this LCK season now.
Oh my, all of 2024?
Yeah. As Oner, it's Maokai, man. You can't contest your bot like that. He's trying.
I mean, it's Maokai and everyone else.
Well, yeah, but just Maokai alone should be enough reason not to try and take some risk there, because now we do have Gen.G with control of this river, and if they get this Drake, could be potentially setting them up for an incredible position in this game. We do have Oner on a flank angle, and some big one-buff potential from Guma and Faker. We'll see if T1 can actually get it.
Kane dashing forward, finds a Q on Zeus. The probably least optimal target for him to hit with that one is Gen G. They slip back into Fog of War towards this Drake that has just spawned. And getting a setup around an objective is what this composition wants to do. As Canyon pretty far away from it for now. Nature's Grasp up and available once again. As Faker down to 50%. Oner lurking on a flank angle.
They can push for inhib. Gen G needs to force.
Yeah, Zeus just trying to be annoying in that front line. Oner can get the kick into the back line. Empress Divide onto 2 as well. The Wombo combo's in. Lance tries to get it done, but there is no Varus. There's no Tristana. And T1 have found yet another one. But Keen trying to find it. Does get a decent angle, but the Neil is still up and available, and she does so much damage. Plan's trying to get to his base, but once again, it's the T1 team fight. Don't think the game's over as much as it was in game number 1, but it's looking rough.
Still looking bad for Gen G as T1 Oner. This entire game has looked, not great, but it doesn't matter. That play right there takes away so much agency from Gen G. Disallows them to pick up a soul as Zeus laughs at you are Maokai and Rakan, you're not doing anything to me.
I'm really glad I didn't have to play-by-play any of that.
Yeah, and thank you. And hopefully you won't have to as look at that.
Gorgeous.
A 3-man knockup, immediate delivery of pace into the backline, and then crucially, Zeus and Guma also ensure that pace, Chovy doesn't actually get to play the game either, because just getting pace isn't enough. You need to get both carries, and with that flank from Oner, you simultaneously, you completely kill the front to back.
Watching Varus, watching Varus.
Also does half of Tristana's health. Focus Tristana, he says.
Oner just knows. And it was beautifully orchestrated immediately. Faker was there with the sweep. Varus not able to play the game. And it's another teamfight win here for T1 in game number 2. It's not over. It wasn't the situation we had last. We did kind of lose our monitors here on the they're back, never mind. Now I can see.
Canyon does have a cool KDA though, which I do feel obliged
He is
to call out.
Secret Agent Canyon. Will that mean that he can infiltrate this Baron pit?
Sure. And unlike last game, I do want to reiterate, I do think Gen G is still very much in this game, but with fights like that, you do have to be worried about the angles that T1 seems to see that no other team can consistently find. And it's the flanks that I think Gen G is really going to have to keep watching carefully. They did have an idea that Oner was in that general vicinity. He was spotted earlier on. I think he also used a Scryer. But if you lose track of him, if you lose track of Faker, these big teamfight ultimates can be used so easily on pace. Varus, as we all know, if no one gets to him, he's quite strong. But even with Flash, if they ever get on top of you, you're in deep trouble. He hurts, though.
He certainly does. He needs to be able to... Oh, Keria in a little bit of trouble, gets Buster shotted away. Keen not able to find the Q. Now Nature's Grasp comes in. Zeus soaking as much damage as he can, which is quite a lot, as it turns out. FaZe gets the transformation mid-fight, and they finally get the outer turret in the mid lane. That's what Gen G wants these fights to look at, not fully committed. If T1, they manage to sink their teeth in, and it's initiative, right? It's like T1 feels like the ones that are always dictating the plays, and that is something that has been prevalent to a lot of our teams that haven't been playing together for all that long. It's one of those things.
Yeah, just T1 against everyone.
Well, yes, it's kind of T1 in general.
But I do agree with you. And Gen G in particular, even their best iterations, as we've seen over the last, like, 2.5 years, haven't necessarily been amazing because they play a great early game. Now, of course, we've seen Peanut like completely run over teams. We've seen Chovy completely run over teams. But against teams where they are evenly matched, it feels like this is more what they're looking for, which makes it a little more important. And to me, the pivotal members on Gen G aren't actually Chovy and Paze, although obviously they need to position well, but Keen and Canyon, because they are the ones that need to mark the threats to their carries and ensure that they don't actually get flanked, that they don't get caught off guard, like T1 might be caught off guard right now.
Yeah, Zeus has teleport, but he is just walking his way up, decides to pull the trigger. And now with the teleport, Gen G are just going to back away.
I think they could have tried, but they didn't want to take the risk.
Not wanting to opt into any sort of 50-50. It's not like a rel situation like they had last time, as that's a nice little snare. There's the flash into the backline, finds Pays. The follow-up just not there, though, as Chovy just says goodnight to Faker. And all out coming through once again here as Zeus going down low, but he's an Udyr. Low is a weird term to talk about when it comes to him. So, just to pick up here for Gen G, and now they can slink back towards the Baron. Try to pick that one up. Chovy gonna get tagged by a Sonic Wave, but no follow-up available here. A little bit of extra gusto, perhaps, from the T1 mid laner, and now a teleport back.
Senna healing. Oner still there.
Yeah, Canyon actually getting relatively low. Keen at full health because he just teleported back, but Pays possibly vulnerable.
Faker in 10.
We'll see whether they actually go for this one as the Baron getting lower and lower. Chovy auto-attacking it. And it looks like Gen G are a little bit split on the decision. There's the Q from Keen, it's big! It's Gumayusi, the apotheosis! And T1 will find the team fight! The Baron goes down, yeah, Canyon manages to get that one. Chovy's still alive as Faker dead once again! And he gets the Baron, that is certainly good news. First death goes over to Canyon as the triple comes in. There is one Baron up for Gen G, but will the Nexus be there?
Oh, I think with Chovy up and the Baron buff being there, there's no opportunity to enter, but T1 is going to pick up a second Dragon there. And that means Gen G, yes, they get the Baron, but the sustain from Senna being the big difference maker to me there. The amount of healing that Keria was able to do meant that you can see the health bar slowly go down. As we take another look at this play, this initially looked with that root landing like they were going to be able to just 100-0 pace, but this time Keen and Canyon actually get the zone control. They actually create the space, and Faker immediately gets blown up, obviously, as Nazir amongst many enemies. But look at this, the health bars on Gen G going down. But for T1, they're basically staying the same. Zeus does so much work, and even though Gen G is able to get themselves the objective of taking down Oner, the team fight is won. Faker TP's in, and then Chovy just kills him.
Yeah. I feel like Chovy and Canyon communicated that one really well to one another, and the other players were just doing things. Because they focus Oner, they get him out of commission, and then they secure the Baron, and then they're like, all right, guys, let's get out. And they're like, we're already out. We made it out the other way.
But Gen G does have a gold lead.
Yeah, there we go. Rebel Baron power play sitting at 2.3k. As Keen dives on top of Zeus once again. The wet noodle fight, really epitomized by these two gentlemen on the top side of the map.
Should have built a Rift Maker.
Should have built Leandros. I want to see that one. Not to be the case, though, as Chovy taking a little bit of damage here. Keria continuing to stack further and further on this Senna. Zeus moving into frontline position as the defense continuing to come in here from T1. Buffed up Siege Minion, going to be taken down there by Faker thanks to the Sand Soldiers. He is going to be standing back. 3 items.
Oh no.
The Bam Scepter coming in here as, Oner looking for that flank angle. Gen G, there's the Nature's Grasp. Everyone lining up behind the Udyr as the explosive charge does so much to Gumayusi. Dawning Shadow comes in. There is the Udyr going down, I'm sure. As Grand Entrance comes in, they pick off Faker once again. It's a double for Chovy, and Gen G may have just found it. They may have found another game as Gumayusi tries as he might, but it's not going to be enough. And Chovy now is on the onslaught. Structures, they bother him, and he is just cutting them down where they stand. 7-2 and 6 on the Tristana. They are not stopping here. First Nexus turret going to be taking down. Explosive charge doing so much damage. Oner and Keria, I just don't think they're going to be able to stop this. As Gen G now getting to work on the next Nexus turret. In goes Oner looking for some sort of kick, but doesn't quite find it. Chovy able to take down Keria. And there goes the Nexus. We're going to a third game. And Gen G are taking us there.